Shalom from Israel to all of the Daystar viewers around the world. I'm Moshe Bar Tzvi, the producer and founder of Israel Now News. We at Israel Now News are dedicated to bringing you the full story and the truth about Israel from Israel. It's written in the Holy Bible when David said in Psalm 25:5, "Lead me in your truth and teach me, for you are the God of my salvation. For you I wait all the day long." And God says in Zechariah 8:16, "These are the things that you shall do. Speak out the truth to one another. Judge with truth and judgment to peace in your gates. And always search for the truth, and the truth shall set you free." John 8:31. I hope you enjoyed the program. God bless you from Jerusalem. Shalom, shalom.
Welcome to Israel Now News. I'm Yochanan El-Rom.
And I'm Rebecca Rand.
In our top story, Egyptian Christians are being slaughtered. In the midst of the political turmoil in their country, members of the Islamist Muslim Brotherhood have been killing Christians across Egypt who supported the military coup which overthrew Mohamed Morsi. More than 40 churches have been burned, and 23 others were looted and vandalized. The homes and businesses of Christians have been destroyed, and dozens of believers have been killed in the streets. A Coptic priest was shot, and numerous Christians have been beheaded, their bodies hung on display. Several churches reported that once their buildings were taken over, the Islamists raised the Al-Qaeda flag. Taking credit for the violence, one Muslim released a statement saying, "The day is coming when no Christian will ever again tread the ground of Egypt, and we will no longer allow churches to exist here." A source from the Egyptian Christian community said, "I fear we may face genocide and become extinct in Egypt."
Overwhelming evidence that Bashar al-Assad's army used chemical weapons against the Syrian people is forcing the United States to consider action against Syria. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry said that President Obama believes there must be accountability for those who would use the world's most heinous weapons against the world's most vulnerable people. It is clear that the United States and its allies, Britain and France, are weighing the possibility of military intervention in Syria, where a civil war has raged on for nearly 2.5 years, claiming the lives of more than 100,000 people.
A top Syrian official told reporters that if the United States intervened in Syria, they would retaliate against Israel with strategic weapons. Iranian officials echoed that sentiment, saying no military attack will be waged against Syria. Yet if there is such an action, the Zionist regime will be the first victim of a military attack on Syria. Israel has remained quiet but vigilant. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said, "Our hand is always on the pulse. Our finger is a responsible one, and if needed, it is on the trigger. We will always know how to protect our citizens and our country against those who come to injure us or try to attack us."
A delegation of Israel's top security officials met with U.S. National Security Advisor Susan Rice last week in Washington. Led by the chairman of Israel's National Security Council, Yaakov Amidror, the delegation consisted of Amos Gilad from the Defense Ministry, Major General Nemrod Shefer, who heads the IDF Planning Division, and the head of Military Intelligence and Research, Brigadier General Itai Baron. A spokesperson for the White House said that the meeting was held to discuss regional security issues, including the threats posed by Iran, Syria, and Egypt. A protest movement in Egypt is demanding that the government cancel the Camp David peace treaty with Israel. The Temerad movement has also issued a call to halt U.S. aid to Egypt in response to unacceptable U.S. interference in Egyptian political affairs.
The United Nations Relief and Works Agency, UNRWA, has been exposed using international funding to brainwash Palestinian children. A recent expose entitled Camp Jihad shows actual footage of camp counselors at an UNRWA-funded summer camp telling Gaza youth that with God's help and with jihad, we will wage war. The footage shows young children in the UN camp indoctrinated with lies that Jews stole their homes and that they must take the land by force. UNRWA has long been criticized for backing terrorist organizations. The former head of UNRWA has admitted that several members of Hamas are on the UNRWA payroll. The United States is the #1 funder of UNRWA.
The American Muslim Political Action Committee has announced its plans to organize a million Muslim march in Washington, D.C. on September 11th. They have chosen the day that Islamic terrorists struck the United States and killed more than 3,000 people to march in unison demanding that laws be enacted to protect their First Amendment rights. 12 years ago, on September 11, 2001, Islamic terrorists flew hijacked planes into the World Trade Towers and the Pentagon and downed a flight headed for Washington, D.C. Many Americans feel that the march, scheduled on the anniversary of the worst terrorist attack on American soil, is disruptive to the 9/11 memorials that will be taking place throughout the country on that day.
An official of the Hamas terrorist organization has stated that his armed militia will not accept any agreement made by Mahmoud Abbas and Israel. He said Hamas will never accept the negotiation track and its results. Hamas claims that when the PA chose to negotiate directly with the enemy Israel, it forfeited the chance to form a Palestinian unity government. Therefore, any agreement that the PA forges with Israel cannot include the Gaza Strip, which Hamas forcefully controls.
Israeli children packed their backpacks and headed back to school last week. According to the Ministry of Education, 2,129,562 kids started school last week. Shai Peron, the Israeli Minister of Education, said, "I'm very excited by the sheer knowledge of the fact that more than 2 million students and tens of thousands of teachers are going to school. And I hope with all my heart that we'll create a good, successful year."
In light of the growing threat to the safety of the Jews of Yemen, the Israeli government secretly airlifted 17 Jews from Yemen to Israel. Natan Sharansky, the chairman of the Jewish Agency, said, "We are privileged to engage in a mission that combines the saving of lives, the reunification of families, and immigration to Israel." Fewer than 90 Jews remain in Yemen, where violent acts of anti-Semitism are increasing. Sharansky said that the Jewish Agency stands at the ready to bring any Yemenite Jew who expresses interest in making Aliyah to Israel and to help the local community in any way possible. 151 Yemenite Jews have been covertly smuggled out of Yemen into Israel since 2011. This recent airlift is reminiscent of Operation Magic Carpet, which took place in 1949 and 1950 and brought more than 50,000 Jews out of Yemen into the Holy Land. Rebecca Rand has more on that story.
The Alaska Jewish Museum in Anchorage is displaying a fascinating exhibit on Operation Magic Carpet and the role that Alaska Airlines played in fulfilling biblical prophecy. The exhibit, called On the Wings of Eagles, Alaska's contribution to Operation Magic Carpet, displays artifacts, video footage, and maps of over 430 flights Alaska Airlines made under treacherous conditions to airlift Jews to their homeland. The highly classified Magic Carpet mission was made possible in part by the president of Alaska Airlines, James Wooten, who was deeply touched by the plight of Jews in Yemen. He agreed to participate in the airlifts and ultimately brought 50,000 Jews home to Israel. The company released a statement saying that Alaska Airlines employees flew in perilous conditions while helping to fulfill a biblical prophecy which said that the Yemenite Jews would return to their homeland on the wings of eagles. The exhibit will be on display until June of 2014.
Jews across the world will be celebrating the high holiday of Rosh Hashanah this week. The Jewish New Year begins with prayer for a good year and for God's blessing upon us. We at Israel Now News wish all of our viewers a sweet and happy New Year. Shana Tova.
This is Jerusalem, Israel's capital city. It's an ancient and modern treasure that is beyond belief. There's a little bit of Israel in all of us. Come find the Israel in you.
That concludes the news portion of our show. Please stay tuned for Ask the Source with Josh Reinstein.
Hello and welcome to Ask the Source. I'm your host Josh Reinstein, and we're here on yet another beautiful day on our rooftop studio in Jerusalem. My guest today is Gil Ilatovich, the CEO of Incredible Islands. Gil, thanks for being on the show.
Nice to meet you.
Gil, tell our viewers a little bit about what is Incredible Islands.
Well, Incredible Islands is an online virtual world. Everything is online, also with the applications on mobile that teach children about the Bible, about Jesus, about Christians' values, Judeo-Christian values, about Israel. This is Bible Islands, Incredible Islands.
Well, why is it important for Christian children to learn about Israel in general?
Well, from here everything is coming. The whole Bible were coming from Israel. We, the Jewish people, wrote the whole Bible actually, from Genesis to Revelation. So this is a Jewish book.
And what kind of things can they learn in Incredible Islands?
They can learn all the Bible stories from Genesis to Revelation. They can learn how to pray. They can learn how to donate, to give. They have a virtual church there where they give the money, and as long as they give more and more, the church becomes more and more strong and more beautiful. They can memorize the Bible verses. They learn to do good things to others. This is most of the things that are in Incredible Islands.
You know, this is an online platform and people are worried about security. How do you protect children from, people coming outside the network and trying to target them?
Okay, this is a closed environment. No way to surf the internet from there. It's giving to the church actually. The pastor subscribed the children through this site, and they are communicate only within the group of the church.
So how do you plan to roll this out? Are you working with churches or church leaders?
We are working with a ministry called One Hope in Florida, and they are our partners regarding content and distribution. And the main partner that started right now is Assembly of God, that give it to their churches all over the world.
You mentioned before that this is a mix of the New Testament and the Old Testament. As someone who's Jewish and Israeli, why did you decide to create a platform with the New Testament on it?
I think that the only friends that Israel have right now are the Christians. They are our main supporters all over the world. And if we can strengthen the connections and do something for them, this is natural. And also, well, the whole Bible is coming from here, so it's also natural that we will do the online version of the Bible from here, from Israel.
I can see the benefit for Christian children in using your platform. Is there a benefit for the state of Israel in children learning about Israel?
Of course, as long as they more will know about the Bible, more will know about Israel, they will more be connected to Israel, and we will have their support. No question about it.
How do you take a platform like this and make it fun for kids? Because, learning Bible verses and things like that, that's not necessarily a fun thing for a little kid to do.
Well, everything is fun there. Everything's through games, through mobile applications, tablets, everything. And everything is through games, total pure games.
Is this also an educational platform beyond the Bible? Do you learn math or language?
Yes, of course, because there is many subjects that are related, like math, English, reading comprehension, science, everything is there as well.
You're an entrepreneur, you're a businessman in Israel, and we see more and more Israeli businessmen working with church leaders. Why do you think that's happening?
I think something is happening in the last years. I think such cooperations of Jews and Christians couldn't happen 10 years ago. But something is happening, maybe it's God doing it, that Jews and Christians are coming together to work together, to bless each other and to bless Israel.
What are some of the new things that you see coming out in this relationship between Jews and Christians?
Many things are happening. There are many collaborations that never happened before, that Jews and Christians are really working together and really supporting each other, and this is for benefit of both sides, because this is what the Bible predicted eventually.
How long ago did you develop the Incredible Islands platform? Is it something that can be used right away, or is it something that's going to be in the future?
It's ready. Go to www.incredibleislands.com. It's ready, everything is there, but we are all the time developing it. It's ever evolving. Every time new games, new stories, new adventures. It's ever-evolving game.
Is this something that is only for an English-speaking audience, or do you have other languages as well?
We are right now finishing the Spanish translation. It will be ready a couple of months from now for the Latin American.
You know, Gil, there are literally tens of millions of people watching this show. What message do you have for our viewing audience?
First of all, I want to thank for this opportunity to all the Christians that support Israel, that bless Israel, that love Israel. We need you. We need your support. We need your love. And if we can give something back through Incredible Islands, this is something that only God can do. Thank you.
Thank you, Gil, for being on the show. And thank you for tuning in to Ask the Source. I'm your host, Josh Reinstein. Now back to the studio.
More than 1 million Jewish children have been killed by abortion in Israel since 1948. Israel is currently engaged in a demographic war for its very survival as a Jewish state. Imagine what a difference 1 million more Jews would have made for Israel. Friends of Efrat saves the lives of thousands of children every year by providing support to pregnant women in distress. Since 1977, Efrat has saved over 30,000 lives and is recognized as a world leader in preventing abortions. You can play a major role in Israel's survival now by helping us save Israel's unborn children.
Up next, shining light from Israel.
Birthday of creation, yeah, all ends with beginnings. What keeps the planet spinning? The force from the beginning.
We've come so far to give up who we are. So let's raise the bar, set our sights to the stars.
Push us on our back to day one. So choose like everyone. Sound the shofar, we run. Set your goals and get clarity. God looks at everyone, wants us to overcome. Make it like the worthy one. Rosh Hashanah, time to get clarity.
Rosh Hashanah, time to get clarity. Rosh Hashanah, time to get clarity. Rosh Hashanah, time to get clarity. Rosh Hashanah, time to get clarity.
The present rich with meaning. The future is yours for choosing. The shofar we are hearing. Apples dipped in honey.
We make mistakes, start anew. We can change. Take stock, suit your soul. Shana Tova, time to grow. Rosh Hashanah written in the book of life. Rosh Hashanah stop all the strife.
Sound the shofar, we run. Set your goals and get clarity. God gives life everyone. Rosh Hashanah back to square one. Envision what your life can become. Rosh Hashanah time to get clarity.
Rosh Hashanah time to get clarity. Rosh Hashanah time to get clarity. Rosh Hashanah time to get clarity. Rosh Hashanah time to get clarity. Rosh Hashanah time to get clarity.
I'm standing at one of the many, many beautiful places that you will find if you visit the nation of Israel. Most of you watching me now already know the biblical significance of Israel. Wow, what a history! A history like no other place in the world. Sure, you should come as a pilgrim and explore the land of the Bible, As you've probably heard from others, or perhaps you've already experienced for yourself, the Bible comes alive. Maybe you are thinking, I have been there and done that. Great, that is a fantastic starting place in exploring this great land. Perhaps you are someone who thinks, that is not for me. I don't want to visit historic sites. Perhaps you are someone who, when you vacation, or holiday as you might call it, you want to go to the beach to relax, the mountains to refresh, or even prefer the desert because you want to be alone. Guess what? You will find all of that in this beautiful place. Relax on the huge sand beaches in Tel Aviv as the soothing sounds of crystal clear waters of the Mediterranean Sea lap on shore. Enjoy the coolness of the hills around the Sea of Galilee. Float in the waters of the Dead Sea on a visit to the desert. Outstanding cuisine, shopping, cultural events, and more. What do I enjoy most about Israel? The people. I have made lifelong friendships here. These people have opened their hearts and even their homes to me. Come and experience all that Israel has to offer. Come home to Israel.
Anywhere else, this would be a vacation by a lake. But this is the Sea of Galilee. The wonders of Israel are beyond belief. There's a little bit of Israel in all of us. Come find the Israel in you.
Please stay tuned for the ICEJ report from the International Christian Embassy, Jerusalem.
Time. We all have it, some more than others. Still, we all have it only 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and 365 days a year. Time is like a river. It flows and it doesn't return. Today, that special block of time, today is the key that locks out yesterday's nightmares and unlocks tomorrow's dreams.
What about our time? We're at 24 hours in a day. How much of that time are we actually giving to the Lord?
Yeah, the funny thing about time is that it doesn't matter how much you think or you do not think about it, it just runs. It just keeps going. Your life, my life, their life. But that's the thing, that as young people we think that we have a lot of time.
We do. We have to be careful with the time. I mean, and then the time actually belongs to God.
He has your days. Psalm 19:12. Our days are numbered. Or live your day as your days will be numbered, so you will gain wisdom. It's the same thing. If I would tell you that you would die tomorrow, you will probably live your day tomorrow differently than today.
Definitely.
Now the question is why? Because your days are numbered. You realize that your time is up.
We often talk about tithing and so on when it comes to money. But what about our time? We're at 24 hours in a day. How much of that time are we actually giving to the Lord?
We are now in the Mount of Olives, and we are in the middle of the graveyard. All of them have a starting and end date. Now the interesting thing is that there's a small line in between, and that short small line is our lives. That's how it's in my opinion, it's a good image of how short our life is. It's a short line.
There's so much fun things to do, and young people want to have fun, so you go on vacation, you're out with your friends, you're not to think about the serious stuff.
For example, the summer tour, young people come from around the world and they give their time and their money which they could spend on a vacation, but they decide to come to serve here in Israel to give the society of Israel, or certain parts, their time and their love. So that's, I think, a good example for what young people can do to invest their time wisely.
So this morning we were at the Mount of Olives, looking at how the city of Jerusalem has been built in time. It took a certain amount of time to build the city of Jerusalem. The same way we were at the graveyard, where all the gravestones have a beginning and end date. You know, I have a beginning date and I also have an end date. And that line in between those two dates is my life. And we went also to the shuk. So observe how people are living their daily lives and using their time and their decisions. And that's where they are at the moment. The place where I'm at the moment in my life comes in my time and in what type of decisions do I do in my time. So with Arise, we want to encourage young people to live their lives for God, to use your time for the calling that God gave only for you. We're working here every single day to help the young generation, to encourage them to use their time and give them tools to make correct decisions to build the kingdom of God worldwide. So God bless you from here from Jerusalem, and I hope that you have an awesome day today and use your time for the kingdom of God.
Don't forget to visit our website, where you will be able to find the Arise Bay show and the Arise Now magazine, in addition to a lot of other interesting material. God bless you.
Those who dreamed about the Jewish state, those who wrought the historical miracle, and against all odds established a state. Those who arrived in the homeland to their new home, those who propelled Israel forward step after step.
I have no doubt that this expanded partnership with our many Christian supporters will greatly strengthen Israel in the years ahead. And I want to thank you all for being part of that historic effort and that historic partnership. May God bless all of Israel's friends throughout the world. May God bless you.
That's all for this edition of Israel Now News. I'm Yochanan El Rom.
And I'm Rebecca Rand, reporting from our studio in Jerusalem. Please join us next week for all your Israel updates.